morning, soul family. I don't even know what time it is because the only clock I have in front of me is my computer, and it is reinstalling because welcome Mercury retrograde, right? Mercury retrograde, the very first day, and I open up my computer and it says, you have no hardware installed. So isn't that just hysterical? Now our hardware, think about it. We are our hard drive. Our computer is us, right? So what happens during Mercury retrograde? We need to upgrade. We found out today my computer's moving too slow. I need to upgrade it. And so I have to reinstall. And went through all these things, and you think about that with Mercury and how things, it's a time for us to look back and figure out, what needs to stay in our life, what needs to be upgraded, what needs to be let go of, right? I'm definitely ready for an upgrade. And I gotta tell you, I was explaining to somebody out there about, after the things that I watched in my dreams last night, I thought, I want to leave here. I just want to leave. I want to go back to Wisconsin, where people are just nice and normal, and they're not concerned about the money, and it's not about, sugar daddy, a girl marrying a sugar daddy for his money and waiting for him to die so she can get it, and a guy marrying an old woman who, he doesn't have to have sex with her because she's old and she can't even function, but she wants a beautiful boy toy on her arm, and when she dies, he gets her money. Oh my God, the things that I'm watching, I'm just sick to my stomach, and I'm just like, take me back, to the simple life. Take me back. Get me out of California. Get me out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah, absolutely, which is what I watch. Ugh. And then I get this new guy, right? He calls me, and I already started my reading. First of all, let you guys look. You got a pair of hippie tweezers. You got olive gold. My mama Sherry gave me this skincare lotion, super oxygen for your entire body. This stuff is amazing. Look at this. It says, like an angel in a bottle. I'm laughing. It's nothing like you've ever experienced, like an angel in a bottle, and I'm thinking genie in a bottle, And these two are the ones I chose for me, and these are the other people. I think that's funny because I never saw that before. So lip butter, strawberry, moisturizing and soothing. Strawberry keeps coming up for me. We're gonna have to look that up. Natural insect repellent, which is what we absolutely freaking want. And what's interesting is it says air and fire. Isn't that interesting? I think it says air and fire. Let me get my trusty magnifying glass out because sometimes it's not what we think. It does, air and fire. And I'm telling you that this is for me. There is a fire sign and an air sign they're insects, and I want to repel them. So that is definitely on that side. These two on this side, these two on this side. So you guys choose. What do you pick? And then we'll go on. So anyway, I'm waiting for this. I start to upload, my new system, and then I get a call back, and I'd already started talking to you guys, and it's probably a good, I know it is. Spirit interrupted me on purpose because I was pissed. The things that I was watching in my dreams, I was so disgusted, and I just, ugh. And I said, I'm probably going to get bumped off, and I'm going to have to see if I can make this move quickly, right? See if I can do this quickly, because I've only got a half an hour. Maybe Spirit wants me to make it quick. And literally, I'd said a few more things that I know should not have been said, right? And the phone cuts through. So no, I wasn't supposed to say the things that I said, and the reason why is, yes, I have watched all of that, and I'm disgusted, and I want to get the hell out of here, and I want to go home. I want to go where it feels like home, and it doesn't feel like home here. And I start talking to this guy, and he says, where do you live? Where's Canyon Lake? And I said, oh, it's 45 minutes inland from San Juan Capistrano. I said, this is where all of the, the Orange County trust fund babies came to buy $1 million homes, when they sold their property on the coast. And I said, have you ever heard of a bro? And he goes, yeah, I'm from Northern California. And I said, yeah, well, there's a lot of bros here. Bros and bro hoes. And if you guys don't know what they are, be grateful that you don't. And I said, I'm not one of them. I pretty much just stay to myself in here. And, the energy's pretty toxic here. And not quite certain why I've had to stay, but I want out. So we're talking, and he says, I totally get what you mean. And I said, I lived in Wisconsin for a year, and the people are just so genuine. They would give you the shirt that they don't even have off their back, right? That's how wonderful they are. And he goes, oh, I get it. And he literally starts to tell me this story, which mirrored my life story. and my spiritual twin story. And I sat here with my mouth freaking open. as he literally told me everything I've watched in my dreams through my twins' eyes. So many things that I misunderstood. You know, this person going and signing what I watched was it's weird. I watched my twin's brother go and sign his name, and I said, that's not his name. But he didn't sign it in the American way of spelling it. He signed it in their native culture. Because what I was watching this was his real father, who had the same name. But so many different things, the old woman dying, or whoever it was, and the family members sitting in your house and you don't know anybody, and your cousins that you haven't met, and all this stuff, which was the same story as my story. And it's like everything that I've been watching, I've been going through all of this, and I'm just like, oh my God. And you leave this place and you go back and you find your family, this soul family that feels more connected to you, and you never knew them. Well, mine was actually soul family, his was literal family, and yet I'm watching all of the stuff that these people are doing that he shouldn't be involved in, and it makes sense. I just can't get over how Spirit delivers clarity in messages. It just blows my mind. And the messages that I kept getting, don't take the money, it's tainted, you don't want that money. And the rings, the family ring, you don't want that, because it holds energy and it's negative. Get rid of it. And I'm watching people pawn jewelry, and pawn stuff that they don't, and they don't want this house, and this house has been left, do you want this house? Nobody wants it. It's in an old podunk town, and it's got to be, But then you go back there, and and all of a sudden it's like a different lifestyle. And it's like, if somebody left me a house in Wisconsin, would I go live there? Fuck yeah. To get out of here? Hell yeah. Change my life? Yes. Because that's where I keep going back to, where people are real, genuine. So all of this I'm watching, and this guy's telling me his life story, right? Which is a mirror of my childhood and my twins. And life just goes round and around, and it's just one big freaking circle, and wow. And so many things that you don't understand. The stuff that I'm watching, and I'm trying to make sense of what I'm watching, and I'm thinking, oh my God, that's horrific, because, you can take it so many different ways. I'm thinking, what are they doing? Breaking into people's houses and stealing their possessions and selling them and pawning them, and I'm watching all this stuff happening, because I am watching that. I'm watching people, oh God, I'm just watching all kinds of shit. It's not cool. Not cool. So it gives me a little more of a perspective about, where does it feel like home to you? Not here and not there. So I'm curious to see what cards come up. I had something in my mind that kept flashing in my mind. The decks that I was using, I knew that, okay, if this is the true story, if Spirit wants me to see this right now, I'll get that card. And we're going to be using the Divine Circus. We're going to be using the Wisdom of Avalon. We're going to be using the Le Vampire and the Fairy Tale Oracle. And what was interesting is, when I started the reading first, I should probably do it that way, but I didn't this way for some reason. What I did was, I went and I reached for this first. I went for oxygen, super oxygen, angel in a bottle. I went for that first. I didn't go to this one, I went to this one. So I'm going to do it again. And it's interesting, of all the things that you would choose, right? I didn't want anything to do with this. This felt negative to me. This air sign and this fire sign, this is the Leo that I told you that has been following around, and this Libra, or I don't know who it is. But it could also represent, in a positive way, balance. The air sign, that Libra signs, that would be balance or justice. Fire would be like the falling tower, or the resurrection, life and air. But it says natural insect repellent. So what I saw immediately was these two signs that I've been watching, this fire sign and this air sign, that I don't want anything to do with, right? And then this strawberry lip balm, this was like, this was a message to me from my youth, and it's like a cyclical thing where, yeah, he went to this town, and when we split up, and he met this girl, and he fell for her, and he always had a thing for her, and he remembered her since they were kids, her and her strawberry lip gloss. That's what he would tell me. She wore strawberry chapstick, and that's what it is. Strawberry chapstick, this girl that he had this thing for. He was just so into this girl. right? And she was really cute, but she was really shallow. But he went there and got together with her and found out that I was dating someone else, so he came flying back. This is a cycle. It's just amazing. He didn't want me to be with anyone else. He's worried about it, you know, but he went off and to his childhood sweetheart and the one who wore the strawberry lip gloss, you know? And then me, here, angel in a bottle, olive gold, because olive oil, you think about olive oil and Popeye, right? Olive oil. Think about the story of olive oil and Popeye and Brutus, who was always after Popeye's girlfriend, Olive Oil. And if you look up the meaning of olive in the Jewish culture, in olive oil, it's sacred. And this one's an angel. This one gives you life, super oxygen, air. And then the hippie tweezers. Now, why the tweezers? The tweezers, they what can you do with tweezers? You can get to things that are really small, right? You can, this removes things. This removes splinters. This removes unwanted things, right? And isn't that interesting for the work that I do? Removing unwanted things, calling on the angels, life-giving oxygen for your entire body. I mean, clearly I'm going to choose this side. I don't know why you guys chose it, but I went for this. So first thing I would go to in all of this would be the angels, would be life-breathing oxygen for your entire body. The gold, the real gold, not financial, but the real gold, right? And it's interesting because I've been dreaming about scents. You know, remember I'm smelling that Burberry smell? And this is unscented. There's a reason for that. We'll figure it out. So we're going to start at 11 minutes and 57 seconds in. We get the first message. And it's going to be the Divine Circus. Oh, wow. Here we go. So, death shall not take him. I find this intriguing that I chose, well, Spirit knows what it's doing, right? I mean, it knows what it's doing. Life breathing, super oxygen, right? From angels for your entire body. And here you see this one dying, frozen in death. Half dead, half alive. But if you were to look at that person, you would think he's dead, right? Half his body is frozen. There's light in that one eye. And you know, now it makes me sad when I look back at the dreams that I thought that I was watching. I thought this is about my life. And it isn't about my life. It was about my twin's life the whole time, not mine. I mean, I don't know now what part of the dreams were my dreams and what part were his. It's like, where's my life, you know? But this is what I watched, was that one that everyone said, there's nothing left. We've given up on him. There's no hope for this one. But I kept breathing Reiki and love into this, and every once in a while you'd see the flash of the blue eye. And his brother walked away from him and said, there's no hope. And I said, you're wrong. Don't give up on him. I love him. And I called this one, it's funny, it's probably not even me, but I'll tell you the story. I'm in this place, and I look over to the side, and I see this person that I love. And I go to them, and when I go to touch them, they turn to a wooden boy. Pinocchio. And we know Pinocchio, what happened to Pinocchio, right? He was raised by somebody who brought him to life. He was created. He was created, basically, out of wood. So what is that? Somebody who isn't even real? Somebody who, this kind-hearted man wanted a boy so bad that he created this child out of wood. And he was a sweet guy. You know, he was beautiful. And he had a best friend who was his conscience that sat on his shoulder, Jiminy Cricket. And he was told whenever he would lie, his nose would grow. And one day, his father, who was a clockmaker, was at work, I guess, and he ran off to join his buddies, the Lost Boys, right? They said, come with us, we're going to go to Treasure Isle. And so he runs away with them, with the Lost Boys, and goes to this island and doesn't understand, just like my twin and these people, go with us, come with us, doesn't understand that these people, they give him all these things, and oh yeah, they treat you like with all this wonderful presents and toys and candies and everything, you know, fun, all the fun that he could ever want. But he doesn't realize that all along these people are trying to win him over so that he trusts them. And they have all these boys there. But what they've done is they've kidnapped these kids, and now they've turned them into their little slaves, and they make them work for them. They're a gang. They're a gang, like what I watched in my dreams. They find these gifted ones, people who know how to remote view, and somebody who knows how to remote view, they're able to see into a house, and they're able to see where's the safe, right? Where's the jewelry? Where's what we need? So they call the machine, and the machine comes for them and tells them what they need to know. And they don't love him. They don't want him. They just want his skills. They want his gifts. And he's held prisoner there. I can't remember how he finally is able to escape. But when I looked over and I saw this boy, he turned to wood. But I knew him and I loved him. And the family, the brother, said there's no hope for him, walked away. They were sad and they were going to leave him. And I wouldn't give up on him. I kept saying I won't give up on him. You're wrong. He's going to come back. He's going to be okay. And that's the story about this. Death shall not take him. Whether this refers to a person in your life, whether this refers to a project in your life, whether this refers to somebody's physical health, it talks about, you're looking at this one just like the brother said. There's no life in him. He's dead. He's never going to come back. It could be addiction, right, that has a hold of someone. It could be, like I said, with the family and these people that I watched. They've, narcissists, grooming an empath. They've mind fucked him. They've got him believing that they care about him when they really don't, and they can't get him back. It's kind of like my cat Prince in that little drug house. They tried to make him into something that he wasn't. He didn't want to be there. It wasn't who he was, but he's loyal to these people because they're his family. But where does your loyalty really lie? And I won't give up, right? So here we see this one, the number 3, full circle completion. Also the Ascended Masters working for you. So what's going on right now is what you might think is impossible, like that brother who walked away from his brother thinking there was no hope. But there was hope, because God has been breathing life, breathing air. Angels have been breathing oxygen into him. Reiki's been going into him. Unconditional love has been holding him, breathing for him, helping him go through whatever he's had to go through. Well, he's been in this sleeping state, this sleeping sickness, almost like a comatose state, unawake. And right, this is what's going to happen. Right when you think, he's flatlined, there's nothing left, you're going to witness the impossible. What you think is lost is not lost. And what you think can't be, will be. The universe is going to step in. This is divine intervention. This is the angels, the archangels, the ascended masters breathing super oxygen into your entire being. It's like nothing you have ever experienced. Super oxygen for your entire body. Pure gold. This is what's happening, and it's interesting because my mama Sherry gave me that. My soul family. I know what that means to me specifically. I don't know what it means to you guys, because I am this one's Mama Sherry. And there's been people obviously in many people's lives that do that. When everything fell apart in my world and I went back to Wisconsin, and that family took me in and they breathed life into me. They became my family. So this is we've talked about this, right? When, it's not over till the fat lady sings. Remember the reading yesterday? Was it yesterday? I don't know. I did it the night before, though. And how it was an ending, right? It was done. It was over. And I was just like, wow, you're going into the dark night of the soul. It's a true ending. It's done. And then the last card says, all of a sudden, wait, it's not done. You've lost faith. You've lost faith. But it isn't done. And I'm thinking, I'm confused. What are you showing me? And then they show reconciliation, right? A coming back to life. And if you were to see the card, again, the reconciliation card, it's interesting how, you can read them in so many different ways. right? The card is about reconciliation, which comes, I mean, during Mercury retrograde makes perfect sense because this is when people come back into your life. But look at the card. Someone you thought was dead comes back, right? Now, in this case, it's a man, and the woman comes back from the dead. Someone that he may have thought he'd lost suddenly comes back. But in our case, it was a man who was dead. Suddenly comes back, and they said to me, it will never happen. And I said, you're wrong. He's going to come back. I was thinking he's going to come back to life because in my dreams, I wasn't going to let go. I felt this person was, you know, under some form of an addiction, and he was under some kind of a spell, right? And this is what they're telling you. At the 11th hour, right when the doctor goes to pull the plug, I'm sorry, we've waited, you know, the do not resuscitate order is here, and there's been no pulse, no heartbeat, and they go to pull the plug, and right then, divine intervention. Destiny changes because fate steps in. And then all of a sudden, there's this restorative power going back into a life that was not there. And you know, you think about soul contracts. We've made soul contracts before we came here. And you know who you've made a soul contract with, because some contracts are meant to be broken, right? The karmic ones. But there are soul contracts that have to be played out. We call it being broken, but like say a twin soul relationship, we have a soul contract. Well, say one of the twins doesn't want to do it. They're wrapped up in fear, they run, they do something different. And they say to our father, I'm not doing this. And father says, okay. You know, we have free will, but it's going to come back around again because you have this contract that you made. You made this contract. God didn't make it with us. We made it with each other and signed a contract, and it's a binding contract. And so even when we walk away and go do something else, you keep running back into this person. Why? Because you have a soul contract. And no matter what you do, eventually it's a contract. You got to deal with this contract. And remember I said the other day, maybe you ought to write an escape clause in your contract. Whatever the contract that you're about to write, make sure you have an escape clause in it so that you know you can get out of it. But this is something where the contracts, you're going to look at it again. You've had dead ends. You've hit the brick wall. Remember yesterday? You've hit a wall, true wall. You can't get over it. You can't get under it. But there is a place in that wall where it's started to come down, and Spirit can guide you there if you pay attention, right? So here it is. No matter how many brick walls you've encountered, no matter how many setbacks, failures, no matter how defeated you might, I gave up. And that's what I heard yesterday. You've given up hope. You've lost faith. And yet Spirit's telling you, don't lose faith. Not yet. You've held on all this time. Don't quit before the miracle, right? I got prickles in my right hand right now. So this is a sign for you. The universe is about to step in to something that feels impossible to you. And the odds, they're so stacked against you, it's ridiculous. If you were playing poker, you're done. You don't have a poker face. I can read you. I can read you like a freaking book. Don't you know that by now? You can tell me lies and I know they're lies, right? You suck at poker. Impossible odds. You're not going to win. This is a crapshoot and you just lost, right? Then all of a sudden, it's going to go your way. The universe is going to step in and blow your mind in some way, whether this is who knows what this refers to, but super oxygen is being poured into something, somebody, or a situation that is beyond human understanding, because it's not human. And remember, before we've spoken and I've said, some things you can't explain logically because it isn't logical, it's spiritual. I've been so angry at my twin's brother, so angry at him because of the things that I watched, and it wasn't even him. I'm frustrated, but Spirit, when you are meant to know things, when you're meant to see things, finally, they'll string things together. That's divine intervention in itself. As I said, that particular man who chose to call me back to work with my computer, and decides to tell me his entire life story, which is everything I've watched in my dreams, which completely shows me something different. And I'm just like, wow. Wow. That's divine intervention, right? It's amazing. It's helpful and it's wonderful. So if you don't believe in something right now, whatever it is that you've lost faith in, maybe it's your health. Maybe it's someone. I lost faith in someone this morning. I was just disgusted. I was so disgusted I could barely stand thinking about them. That was divine intervention when that man called and told me his story. As I sat there listening, I didn't say a word, I just listened. And it's funny because yesterday I got from Spirit, when I was doing our reading with the power animal cards, right? The card that kept coming up was koala for me. And koala says, speak less, listen more. There's a message. And then I kept getting the owl. I mean, not the owl, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, the owl, see past deception, right? I kept getting the hawk. I asked for a message before I went to bed last night and I got it again. There's a message coming, the red hawk, and I am the red hawk. Be prepared. It's going to be coming in a form of an email, a text. It's going to come in an unusual way, but it's going to give you information that you have needed to know. And holy shit, did it ever. Divine intervention. So if you have doubt, I mean, I know Spirit's real, right? I just thought I'm going to break my soul contract because I'm so disgusted I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And that was a message I got from Spirit last night. You might be to the place in your life where you're saying to yourself, I can't do this anymore. I don't even know who you are. Or I don't trust the situation, or I was wrong, or even though, your guidance is telling you to move forward. Remember the messages we got last week, I think it was, how we're going to be going forward. Spirit's encouraging us to go forward. Other people would say, no, don't do it. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't trust that. Which lie are you going to believe? The first lie or the second lie, right? I've heard this story my whole life. But I've been through this before once, and I chose the wrong way. And I knew that I was going to follow my heart, right? This was the opportunity. One of them we didn't want to take. Don't take the money. That was loud. But it may not even be what I think. It may be a part of what somebody's watching in my dream. However, I kept getting it. Don't take the money. It's tainted. But, and you may not understand what I'm talking about, but some people will. I'm just supposed to go with it. Spirit said, just let it run. So, I lose my faith. I decide I can't do this anymore. I'm going to break this soul contract. I want to go home. I want to go where I feel safe. I want to go where people are honest, where they're decent. And what I've watched is not. It's disgusting, and I don't want anything to do with it. And I heard, you can break this soul contract, but it's going to come back around again. It may come back around again until you're 80. And if you don't finish it this life, you'll have to finish it in the next life. And I thought, I won't, because I'm in a twin soul relationship, and this is my last go-round. If I have to get it right? That's why there's going to be divine intervention. So if you have to doubt something, like I did, go ahead and doubt. Go ahead. But it's going to happen. So say to the world, you know what I want to see? I want to see it. Show it to me. Prove it to me. Like an angel in a bottle. Super oxygen. Bring it back to life in the most beautiful way. In the most beautiful way, in the highest light. Dazzle me with your life-affirming brilliance, right? Bring out the best, the boldest, the most beautiful things into my world right now. Bring it. Prove it to me. I'm ready. I'm ready to be rocked by your awesomeness. Because the universe is saying that all they want right now is your permission. Just give me permission. Stand there with your heart open. I kept getting last night, don't shut your heart down, not yet. Don't walk away yet. Just wait a little bit. Keep your heart open. Because if you say yes, and I've said yes, the universe has already started. They've already started the healing. They've already started the restoring, the repairing, whatever it needs that's going to bring you, your project, your relationship, whatever this is, back to life. something that is supposed to be resuscitated in your life will be. Amazing. Freaking amazing. Regret. Wow. And there I sat, right? Bags packed. I'm done. I'm out of here. And Spirit says, wait, sit down. Do you know what made me mad too? I heard in my head, she looks beautiful with sitting there with her top off. But when she's got her top up, she's kind of raggedy. And it offended me because of what I watched and what I experienced in my life. Somebody who was a womanizer who went and, you know, went after older, beautiful women and to try and take from them what they could get, you know, go into their homes so that they can, this woman thinks that this young guy likes her and all he's interested in is casing out her place so somebody can go back there and steal what she's got, right? So is that you sitting there with your bag of goodies, you ready to steal? Before you do that, sit down and think about it. Don't regret it. Don't take the money. That's what I'm getting. Whether you're a male or a female, don't take the money. That's what I watched in my dreams. And then me, I'm ready to pack it up from what I watched, right? And Spirit says, hold on, sit down. This is dirty laundry. I don't even want it. I don't even want it. Take it off. Right? Do I want to drag that around with me? I'm thinking, this is me last night. I don't want this dirty laundry. It doesn't even belong to me. This is a message about, I mean, obviously deep thought. You're going somewhere. You're going up the stairs. Before you take one more step, sit down and make sure that you know what you're going to say. You know what you're going to do. You know what you're willing to commit to. You know that you're going to take the consequences of your actions. Before you leave somebody, make sure you know the full story. Why are you sitting there with your top off? You're exposed, you're open, you're vulnerable, you're naked. But you're not fully naked. Or are you? Yeah, you are, because your chest, these are just blue sky and clouds. That's just air. Isn't that interesting? That's life-giving oxygen. That's what you have. That's who you are. This is you. This is me. This is my card. This is the angel with the life-giving oxygen. Maybe Spirit is breathing that life-giving oxygen into you. We only regret the things we didn't do. Is that the truth? If you dwell on missed opportunities, you have an excuse to live in regret and avoid new challenges. Everything happens for the best, so step up. Great opportunities abound. Sitting there worried about what you didn't get to do or what you didn't do. But I see something different because of what I watch. See, we'll read this different every single time because of our experiences, and that's how Spirit gives us the dreams that they do. That's why when intuitives read, we don't read this. We reread from our own experiences, and that way Spirit is able to connect all these different stories together and different scenarios, right? Every reader is going to see this differently because of what they're going through. Because why? Because we see the world through the veil of our experiences. So this is me. Do you really want to carry around all that baggage? It doesn't even belong to you. Are you somebody who has done this? Who has, I've got friends. They're not my friends now, and they really were only just people that I was around because I used to go dancing, and you meet people at the club, right? And that's who they are. And beautiful girl, absolutely gorgeous. Always with some yucky guy, and I didn't understand. I'm like, what are you doing? I asked her one day, what are you doing? And she goes, a girl's got to eat. I'm just like, wow. And that's that, is that what you're doing? I mean, like I said, the good-looking guy who marries the old, rich woman, she just wants a pretty boy on her arm. But he's taken care of. He's promised a certain amount of money. Don't take the money. I'd rather walk out of there naked than have anything belonging to anyone else. And don't give me anything that any jewelry that belonged to anyone else. Don't give it to me. Have you been in somebody's place? Have you gone in? And I've watched this in my dreams too. Have you gone in to as a cleaner? You know how they go into crime scenes, or they go into old folks' homes. As cleaners to cleaning service. Yeah, they clean all right. They sexually clean them. And I mean, like, clean the pipes. They service you. Rich older women. And while one person is doing that, casing the place out, now the other people know where to go and get the jewelry. So many things I'm watching, and this is sick and disgusting, and I'm sorry you guys have to hear it, but it's what I watched. So, and I've watched it a lot. Don't take the money. Get out of it before you take one more step. Now, another message is you're carrying around a lot of regrets from the past. You keep them. You keep holding on to them. Everywhere you go, you're dragging around that bag of regret. Do you really want to take the next steps? You're not going to ascend. You're not going to go to the higher state of your life carrying around all that shit, because Mercury retrograde is about what we want to let go of, right? I'm upgrading my computer right now. It wasn't working. The old way wasn't working for me. I want to ascend to a higher level. I'm not going to ascend to a higher level with old computer programs. I want to drop those old programs, thought systems, beliefs. Maybe you're programmed since childhood to do. Maybe you were one of those that were groomed that way, right? I heard in my head, Lucy in the sky with diamonds, Lucy and her merry little band of thieves. And that's what they did. I can't seem to do this any other way other than, you know, just think long and hard before you take another step with what you want to do. Think of what you don't want to miss. Think of what's entailed, and if you take that along with you, are you prepared to take the next steps? Are you ready to leave your relationship? You packed up, you're just waiting for your top to dry. I got everything packed, I'm ready to go. I'm just sitting here thinking, you know? I'm leaving. But somehow Spirit steps in and asks you to think. Is that the best choice for me? Focus on what you really want. Is this what I really want? Is that really important to me? Or would I rather walk out of here with nothing in my own integrity and my honor than take that tainted offer that Spirit's been talking to us about for such a long time that we're going to be offered? What if this is an inheritance, but you know where that money came from? It's drug money. It's those people in that family, they stole. That's what they did. All those things that they have, that they hawked and pawned, belong to other people. All that money it's drug money, or it's stolen money. It doesn't belong to you. It was left to you. What am I supposed to do with this? I didn't do it. My family did it. Don't take the money. Focus on what you really want. It can be that scenario. It can be, my family believes all of this. This is my family's way of living. This is how they feel life should be lived. I've been dragging around this my whole life, and it's not even who I am. Isn't it about time I took that off? Stuffed it in a bag and focused on what I really wanted. So I'm sitting here thinking, what do I really want? I want to step into the light. These steps here, this is white, this is truth, this is purity, this is good. What's hanging on to these your steps that you're supposed to take forward? What's spilling over onto it? The debris. This is the time, Mercury retrograde, this is the time where you're gonna run into old friends, and maybe you've been away from them, and you meet up with them again, and God, they're still doing the same thing, but you're not that person anymore. Let go of it. It's time for your friends to change. It's time for a shift. It's time to drop the past and focus on what you really, truly want. I'm going to, at 39 minutes in, I'm now going back to the tweezers. I don't know why we're doing it out of order, but we are. We're doing it out of order. Makes me think of how interesting, Bondage. Yeah, that's me. So, and I watched that last night. Somebody's father's all into bondage. Or is it his brother? I can't remember. I watched they called the person Donald Trump. Yeah, it's his father. Check out the colors. How interesting that they're all the same. Remember I told you the story, and I don't know if you all remember this, but it was a story of somebody I know on Instagram, lives in another country, very nice lady, and she was speaking about it was her anniversary, her and her husband, and she was giving she posted something, and it was beautiful, her words were beautiful, and I cried, and I said, that's what I want that. And she says, no one ever thought that we would ever be. We were the couple that should never have been. We did everything backwards. Everything we shouldn't have done is what we did. And he's my best friend. And we've been together 30 years now. It's funny that I'm going backwards. I'm going, I grabbed from this pile, then I grabbed from that pile. Let's see why. Well, they didn't give it to me. They didn't give me the one I thought they would give me, but this makes a lot of sense too. Rumpelstiltskin. We know the story of Rumpelstiltskin. How this one was supposed to figure out his name, right? Now, why was she supposed to figure out his name? Well, this little girl had gifts. And the father, well, this little girl, what was the father? He was a miller, the one that ground wheat, right? And flax, whatever. And she spun it. And her father starts bragging about her to somebody. About how his daughter is able to spin the straw into gold. And, of course, it goes out like wildfire. It's a lie. But something like that goes out. So, the king hears about this. And he says, all right, he brings her all this piles and piles of straw. And he says, I want you to spin that into gold by morning, and if you don't, you die. She's like, great. Perfect. So, because her father lied and said that she could do something that she couldn't do, because remember I told you about remote viewing. He can do this. She can do this. She can tell you where the money is. She can tell you where this is. She can tell you where that is. They called the machine and the machine went. But see, the thing is, I don't know about everybody, but they are gifts from spirit, and I told you that you can't use my gifts for the darkness. Now, I do know that the government employs remote viewers so that they can see into other people's camp, the enemy camp, right? So maybe that was one of the gifts that you were told to do. Somebody said that to me. I have remote viewed. I've seen things. I have information that's actually quite dangerous to people. The information that I've been shown, the things that I know, people can go to jail. I can cause a lot of problems, and I know that. I've been watched for a long time. So what if you had these gifts and you were told, this needs to do, we need to do this. With, they can get in there, we can get the money, they can tell you exactly where it is. But what if you are not able to do that in the darkness? What if all of a sudden your gifts are taken from you because Spirit doesn't want this happening? So there you are, expected to do something, right? So the prince comes in, and she hasn't been able to do, or the king comes in, and how interesting that I said the prince comes in. Yeah. So the king comes in, and he says, why haven't you done this? And she can't do it. And she's going to die. So she's crying. In the middle of the night, she's thinking, okay, that's it. Tomorrow she dies. And this little fairy guy comes in, and he says, if you can figure out my name, by morning, I will spin this. Now, what did he say? No, that's not what it was. He said, I will spin this for you into gold. And you have to do something for me. And so she's thinking, okay, well, I'm going to die, so I'll do it. So once he does that, then he says, what you have to do is when you have your firstborn child, you have to give your child to me. And what is she supposed to do? She either dies or she gives away her child. So, she does it. So she's upset, and the baby is born. He shows up, and she's just like, there's no way. I don't want to give my child away. I don't want to give my child away. And he says, well, if you can guess my name, which no one can guess his name because he's a fairy. No one would know it. And if you can guess my name, you don't have to give me your child. So she's smart, though. she has gifts too. She knows how. She follows him. She watches him. And he's singing this little song, and in his song, he names his name. Just like in my dreams, I was given the name of the brother. I got his name, right? I've been given a lot of names. I know who's who and who does what. And yeah, my phone just flashed, and I get it. So, she says, your name is Rumpelstiltskin. I know who you are. And because of that, she doesn't have to give away what she had to give away. Like in my instance, do you really want me to give your name up? Is it worth it to you to hold on to what you need to let go of? Or wouldn't it be smarter for you just to go away? So this is the story. This is about promises made by other people or debts that you have inherited. People make promises. You can do this without consulting you. And remember, I gave you an example of my landlord who shows me, I don't know if it's the uncle or the father of the one that I'm connected to. And he has this neighbor who's got a lot of money. And he wants something from this guy. He wants to do a deal with this guy. And he says, if you do this with me, she'll give you a reading. She'll do this for you. And then he tells me later, and I'm like, what? Why would you make an offer for me in exchange for something you want? Don't put me in the middle of this. And the guy didn't have the nerve to come to me and ask me for it. But I mean, that is exactly what we're talking about here. And that's exactly what we saw. We saw somebody's father who sold him out. And I heard that in my dream the other night. He sold him out. Yeah, he did. He can do this for you. I've seen him. I know what he can do. He knows things. He can see things. He can do this for you and get what you need. So right now, be careful about people making promises before they consult you. And know that there's a way out. Remember, maybe you ought to put an escape clause into that contract. There is a way out of even the most awful contracts and promises. Promise to marry someone. I don't want to marry her. I'm not in love with her. But you have to do this in order to get this for the family. So then you marry this person. You don't love them. You don't have sex with them. I already saw it. Sexless marriage, masturbation, loneliness. But you're in this marriage for convenience for someone else. Because of the gifts that you have, the talents that you have. So right now it's about impossible tasks. It's about unkeepable promises. It's about unfair agreements. Power of a name, family name, think about it. Or a name, knowing a name. How much power do you have now that you know the name of who did that? You got a lot of power because I know the name. There's a way out of this obligation. You're going to find solutions. You have been misrepresented by someone. Remember, we got from Spirit several times. They don't love you. They only have you there because of what you can do for them. You have something that they want. They benefit from your gift. Do you not understand that you are not loved? Do you not understand that you have been used by people who claim to love you? They don't love you. They only want what you can do for them. Just like this man, he doesn't want you. This young, gorgeous guy, he doesn't want you. He just wants your money. Just like that beautiful young girl. She's not in love with you. She's only with you because you're her sugar daddy. She wants your money. Pretty scary, right? Now you understand why when people win the lottery, all of a sudden all these rats come out of the woodwork. You know, all the relatives you never knew all of a sudden show up when you're doing well. You've been misrepresented. You will find the solution. And there is power in knowing someone's real name. And this is about promises that are falsely won. They cannot be kept. Sorry, you lied, you manipulated, you deceived, and you think I'm going to keep this promise? Not a hope in hell. Bondage? You can get out of those ties. The ties that bind you. What's kept you wrapped up in these ties? Fear, doubt, worry. I won't be accepted if I don't do this. Wow. Do you really want to be there when all they want is you for something other than you? I can't move forward. I can't do this. Yes, you can. You can do anything you set your mind to. You are a powerful spirit creature. Pick it apart. You've got the pick the locks. You have the ability. Use your intuition. Find the loophole. Use your fox adaptability and your keen mind and your observation until you pick apart the problem. You are in a bondage of your own making. Your own negative thinking. Stop. Challenge yourself to replace negative expectations with a positive outlook. Prepare for rapid change. So all you have to do is change your mindset. I can do anything I set my mind to, whatever this is in regards to. I am capable, I am worthy, and I deserve it. I've already been shown that even if it looks like someone's on their deathbed, even if there's a complete solid brick wall and there's no way to get out of here, it's like a magician and his trick. You are the magician. You are the magician. You're being backed by angels, by life, breathing. Look at this, super oxygen, like nothing you've ever experienced. That's what you're backed by, and you feel that you're stuck? Pay attention to the details. Pick out of there what you don't need. Pick your way out of this situation. It's time to feel the love of your guides. They're all around you, all behind you. You connect with your guides. Whatever situation that you're in that's keeping you locked in this bondage, whether it's in your own mind, whether it's people, whether it's a contract, an obligation, you ask Spirit, because they know how to get you out of anything, even if you can't seem to figure it out. At 51 minutes and 25 seconds in, we now go to Strawberry Chapstick and the Wisdom of Avalon. Makes sense to me. Deer. When I look at deer, first of all, never mistake a gentle, quiet person for a weak person in yourself or another. But the deer also says you may be coming out of a very difficult situation and you're not quite sure where to put your feet. So walk gently on your path. Or you may be going into a situation right now that's very volatile, or you're not quite certain what's coming in front of you. Walk gently on your path. Also, you don't shove a deer. You don't push a deer. You have to coax them gently. They're very sensitive. They're quick to run and hide. This one doesn't have any psychic antennae right now. I wonder why that is. Gentleness, diplomacy. The number 22 is important right now. The angels can see the positive results of your prayers, and they want you to have patience and stay optimistic while the final details are being worked out in heaven. This is an urgent call for the angels to keep the faith. Funny, you know, right when you're ready to chuck it all. Keep the faith. Strawberries kept coming up for me. They kept appearing for me everywhere. Strawberries. So at this time, you pushing someone or bullying your way through or aggressively trying to persuade somebody to do something is going to backfire on you. It's not going to work. They're going to run. You need to be gentle at this time. You need to be diplomatic. Whatever you do, do in the highest light. The deer's gift is gentle movements and quietness. They're able to stay hidden. I mean, it's amazing how when you're in the forest, they can hear you coming a mile away. Their ears, look at their ears. They can pick up sounds a mile away. And they can make zero sound going through the forest. They have to. That's how they're camouflaged. That's how they're not seen. That's how they keep their babies safe. This is a mama deer trying to keep her baby safe. Right now, if you embody these qualities, your steps are successfully assured. Gentleness, diplomacy right now. But right now, as far as I'm concerned, it's about being gentle with yourself. This is soothing, moisturizing lip butter, right? Remember I said when you're dehydrated, what is it your body is wanting? Milk, mother's milk. This is a mama deer. Butter. Liger, my cat's been desperate for cheese. My lips yesterday were chapped because they're lacking moisture. Your mouth, emotion, moisture. This is a mama deer. Be gentle with yourself right now is more of the emphasis that I'm seeing. You come out of a shitty situation and you don't know where you're going, be gentle with yourself. You're not quite certain of what's around the corner and it's been rough, be gentle with yourself. Right now, just walk gently as you go forward. And always, whether people mistaken people all the time, you know? Never mistake a gentleman for a weak man, but never mistaken a loving, open-hearted, generous, empathetic woman or man as being weak. It isn't weakness to be loving and wanting to believe the best in someone. That's a strength. What's weak is choosing to hurt people because that's the only way that you can feel powerful and use people. Yeah, it's time to clear, big time. Love. Love yourself first. Look in your mirror. When you look in your mirror, do you love who you see? Do you even like who you see? That's something that I said to somebody one time, somebody that was just really disgusting and rotten to me. I said, wow, do you like yourself? Because I wouldn't want to be you. I wouldn't want to be in your skin. How can you live with yourself? Do you actually sleep at night? Can you look in the mirror and tell yourself, I love you, I'm proud of you, I'll stand by you, I know that you're honorable, loyal, trustworthy, you stand on your integrity. When you say something, I know I can trust you. I know it's the truth. You don't lie. You don't manipulate. You don't deceive. You don't use your looks to get something. You don't network with people to get what you want. You care about others. You are able to forgive easily. When you look in the mirror, can you say all those things about yourself? Well, you need to look in the mirror and say to yourself, I love you. I'm proud of you. I will never desert you. I am proud of how far you've come and what you've learned. And I forgive you for everything that you've done in the past that you're sorry for. I don't need anyone to complete me because you're here. I'm complete in myself. Focus your heart on your greatest qualities, all that makes you lovable. Your love for yourself is a powerful magnet that attracts more love into your life. Because if you are lacking in love for yourself, you will attract that kind of person into your life. You'll attract a user. If you're somebody who uses your looks to get ahead, you're going to attract someone who's going to use you. If you put all of your emphasis on the way you look instead of what you are inside, are you so in love with yourself? If you love yourself so much, go love yourself. Right? If you love the way you look so much, remember that song? If you love the way you look so much, go love yourself. Because clearly you don't love yourself. You don't even know what that means. The one with the strawberry lip gloss. There is an opportunity coming. Because when you are someone who can look in the mirror and see the beauty of yourself, now, this could be a man or a female, right? This could be a very old, wrinkled, out of shape person. But when they look in the mirror, they see that because that's who they really are. This is just a facade. This is just a human suit that we wear. You know, some people are blessed with a perfect body. They just are. Some people have great hair, great teeth. They're just blessed. Were you blessed with beauty and you use it in a negative way to harm people, to take from people, to use people, to manipulate people? And in the converse, are you somebody who you could have wrinkles, you could have 15 extra pounds on you, but when you walk into the room, you are just a breath of fresh air. You're just sunshine and light. Your energy feels fantastic. Why would you want to go out with her or him? You could have that. Because this is just a facade. This isn't real. This is plastic. This is strawberry chapstick. Right? And when you find somebody who's actually a beautiful person on the outside as well as on the inside, wow, now you found something amazing. So if this is you, clearly you with an honorable interior and someone of integrity and morals and fine value, who treats others with respect and compassion and kindness and is there for other people, doesn't put themselves in front of everybody all the time, you will clearly have an opportunity coming, because you will draw to you what you have sent out. That's your karma. You deserve that. No matter how old you are, no matter what you look like, you're a decent, awesome person. You're the person I want to be friends with. I'm telling you, when I went back to Wisconsin, somebody said to me, somebody here from California, one of my beautiful people said to me, oh, did you have to buy a Pendleton work shirt, red and black work shirt to fit in back there? And I was like, you have no freaking clue. I would take one of them. 10 of you couldn't come up to one of them. Honest, good, decent, wonderful people that would give you the shirt that they could barely afford off their own back. You think you're so beautiful, you're so in love with the way you look? You need love lessons. You need to go love yourself. And there's an opportunity coming for it, because karma's looking for you. At 1 hour and 1 minute and 59 seconds in, we go to the insect repellent. And you know what's funny about this? When I look at this now, remember when you ascend to a higher level, when you are walking your walk, talking your talk, when you are who you say you are, when you stand in your truth and you speak the truth, and you're not afraid to speak the truth, you will naturally repel the insects. They won't. Remember I said, when you stand in your power, those ones that have been trying to come around you, they're going to run from you. You don't have to get rid of them. I wouldn't even have to spray this insect. I got to tell you that this light air sign and this Leo, this fire sign and this air sign, they're going to run from me, because I stand with my sword of truth, and I'm not afraid of them. Right now, I have got prickles through my entire body, but mostly my left side, my heart side. And that's the truth. When you stand in your power, all those ones that you needed to get rid of, they'll just fall away naturally. And that's what Mercury retrograde is about too. So when Spirit says, don't be afraid to stand in your power, don't be afraid to speak your truth, they're afraid that you're going to realize that you have that power. And as soon as you have that power, they run. Because what they had in you, they can no longer take. They can no longer take from you what they've been robbing from you. Your energy, your gifts, your self-respect. You will naturally repel people like that when you stand in the light. There you go. Saying goodbye. Peace out. It's definitely the time of endings, right? See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Yeah, there's people that have come back into my life. They came back into my life so I could see them for who they truly were. And then you can put the past to rest. Because remember that? When resurrection happens, when reconciliation happens, it doesn't mean that they're there to stay. When people in your past come back into your life at this time, it's for you to see how far you've come, to see where you were, what you want to repel away from you naturally, how far you have to go. It's also about welcoming back others that are decent into your life, the ones that are vibrating on your frequency. So this angel comes forward to assist ones from this life to another life, the afterlife. From this world until back into spirit. I don't call it the afterlife because I don't think we're up there running around playing basketball and shopping in the mall. We're back into spirit. We're just part of spirit again. This is life down here. And there are angels that come forward to help you move from this place to that. There may be ones in your life that are trying to pass over. And there are angels that come and help them. They take the fear away from them. They help them. Have you ever noticed that? The fear isn't there at the end. They're calm because a sense of peace comes over them, because an angel is working with them. They help them. And then there are angels that are here to help you comfort the ones that are left behind. This morning, one of my Facebook connections, his son died in the middle of the night. He was a teenager. He started having seizures, and he was just starting to get treatment to check and see what was going on. And he died in his sleep. You're not supposed to have a child, but I mean, that was his life contract. See, that's what we have to understand as spiritual people. He came in order to live that far in his life and experience that. And his family chose to live the life, how to deal with the death of a child. That we all choose our contracts. But they need help, right? Just because I chose this doesn't mean it's easy for me. I apparently chose to be in a twin soul relationship. And I got to tell you, when I get back up there, I'm going to kick my own ass for choosing this. It was my choice. And all the difficulty that we go through, we have spirit that helps us go through what we need to go through. So when this comes forward, there's all of these things that come into play. You think about the ones who were here before you and have passed into spirit. And then you think about you. What happens when I go? What kind of a legacy am I leaving behind? Am I going to be remembered as a player, a sugar mama, or I lived with a sugar daddy? Do you know how many men want to wine me and dine me and fly me all over the world? I'm telling you, I'm not bragging because I find it disgusting. But it happens all the time. And I'm getting older and it still happens, which, there's always somebody older than you, right? No, I'll fly you out to Vegas and, we'll party and no thanks. They didn't care about me. They just liked the way I looked. They just wanted my body. No, I promise. We don't even have to have sex. Like the person, I just want you on my arm. People do that all the time. And I say, about that, God, can you imagine if their children understood what they were doing? Oh, their kid knows. Their kid knows what they do for a living. Wow. Because that's what they do for a living. They use people for a living. Think about it when you're on your deathbed. Are you going to look back on your life and think, wow, I'm proud of how I lived my life? Wow. Think about it. We do get to make choices in our life, right? It doesn't mean that you chose to come down here and live as a piece of shit. You came down here to experience the duality of dark and light, and we all get choices. I could have chosen to go with any of those people. My mom said to me, I fell in love with somebody that had nothing. I did. And my mom said to me, you can fall in love with a rich man just as easily as you can fall in love with a poor man, Sherry. Because she had grown up poor and it wasn't fun, and she ended up marrying my stepdad, and he didn't have a lot of money, but he had the Midas touch, and he ended up being a millionaire, billionaire. And so she was raised as a pretty princess, right? Like Princess Tiger Lily. Spoiled. She was spoiled, she was pampered. My dad worked like a fiend, and my mother just was the princess. She was spoiled. And this beautiful, beautiful woman gained a lot of weight. She wasn't happy. My dad wasn't ever around. He was working all the time. He didn't now have this beautiful wife. How fair was that to him? I'm saying things about my own mom. I know that. She learned. She changed. She changed her life. And she went back to who she truly was before all of that materialism affected her. And that materialism didn't affect her until she came to California. It didn't. And she did change her life around. So you may say, oh, well, this person, He came down here to be that pain in the ass in your life. You know, you wouldn't want to be him. Yeah, but he had choices too. We all get choices. And my mother changed her way of looking at things. But you know what? You can change your way of living, but you can't outrun karma. Whatever you send out, you get the results back, the consequences. You throw a rock in the pond, there's going to be a ripple effect. You're not going to avoid it. You throw a ball towards a glass window, it's going to smash. And then you're going to have to deal with the consequences. Even, you know, my grandson said, I love, you know, this young guy, this young rapper. Mom, Grandma, he got shot in the neck. He was a good guy. And I'm like, really? Who'd he get shot by? Oh, by a rival gang. So I start looking into it, and the guy's been arrested like 4 times. Once for beating up a pregnant woman, right? And he goes, well, she wasn't pregnant by him. And I'm like, I don't care. She was pregnant. Yeah, but, you know, he changed his life and he started doing good things. And I said, that's wonderful. You know, there's a lot of people that have been murderers, that have been criminals, and they changed their life. And right now, we're not condemning you, right? There are people that, remember the person yesterday, I was afraid that you wouldn't want anything to do with me if you knew where I came from, if you knew what life I led. But if you've changed your life, no one's going to judge you on that, of course. But you still will have consequences from your past actions. So right now, we get an opportunity every moment to wake up and change who we are. Who do we want to be? Remember that one sitting on the step? Before you take one more step, don't do something you're going to regret. You better think about it long and hard. Whatever it is. You want people to remember you in an honorable way. You go to your father's funeral. I don't even want to go. The guy was a total player. The guy was a user. I don't even want to go there. I don't want anything of his. And that is the truth. And that's why I kept getting in my dreams. You don't want the money. Don't take the money. It's tainted. Don't wear any of his jewelry. That's for sure, because that energy is in there. Everything from that person's life and their lifestyle, it's there. Do you want to be looked at and remembered that in that way? Or do you want to go back and face your maker? What did you do with the life I gave you? I gave you a life to live, and you had choices. What choices did you make? What did you choose? Did you choose the love over the money? Did you choose to not forgive? Did you choose to hold grudges? Did you choose to enact vengeance? When I say vengeance is mine, how did you live your life? So right now it's about honoring people that were before you, the ones who might be leaving. Maybe at this time it's somebody preparing to leave, and you're thinking about it, what kind of a life they led. Maybe it's about making a will for your own family. It might be that right now, wills and documents are going to work their way into your life. My stepfather, he doesn't speak to me. He's very, very, very wealthy. There is no other. I am the only one. And, you know, when he dies, where does the money go? You know, to the last remaining relative. So maybe wills and context are going to come into your life, documents. I've been getting this for quite a while, and you know, my mother, when she called me in and she wanted to talk to me about her will, and I didn't want to talk about it. I said, I don't want to talk about it. Well, I'm going to die when I said, don't want to talk about it. I want you. I don't want your money. I'd rather have you. So many families squabble and fight over inheritance. He didn't even know him. He comes back for the funeral and he's going to collect the money in the houses? Was it his fault that his father ran out on him and he grew up without a father and was abused by his stepfamily? When something is left to you by someone and it's in a situation like that, you don't have to share it. If you were the loving, honorable one that your grandmother loved and she leaves something to you, you aren't obligated to share it with your family. That money is yours. There's so many things that come into play. My grandmother had a lot of money. She saved her whole life. She took care of everybody. She grew up in the Great Depression, and she ran a boarding house, and she rented out rooms, and my mother hated it. Hated living in that house because my grandmother always had, but that's how my grandmother supported them. And in the end, what did my grandmother do? She took care of everyone. My uncle lived for free with her and his family. All the cousins, no one had any money. They were all on welfare. She supported everybody. She gave my cousin $30,000 to buy a car. She gave my brother money to buy a car. She gave everybody in my family money, except for me. She's offered it to me and I never took it. I didn't want her money. It's something about, I don't know, it must have been something in my past life, because it was the same with my family. I never asked my dad, my stepdad, I've never asked him for a dime, because that was his money, it wasn't mine. Because people had used me for my money, But when my grandmother died, do you think when she died, any of them had paid back the money that they owed her? None of them had. None of them had. And you know what happened in her will? She said, that's yours, that's yours, that's yours, minus $30,000, minus $10,000, minus this. My grandmother was very fair, and she was honorable, and I was the only one I got my grandmother's wedding ring. And somebody came into my storage unit and stole everything. My grandmother's wedding ring, my mother's ashes. Somebody went into my house and stole all of my antiques. So when I'm watching this in my dreams about this family who goes to different people's houses and they steal, you think long and hard. That was all I had. I didn't want the money. I had my grandmother's wedding ring, and it was priceless. And it wasn't valuable. It was missing a diamond, and the diamonds were flat-bottom diamonds. That's all they could afford at the time. But it was my grandma's. So you think long and hard before you do something that you're going to regret. Don't take the money. So many times I watched this, my little sister. My dad would have money, he always had change and money in his pockets, because my dad just had so much money, it was ridiculous. And he would get paid in cash. And I used to watch my little sister. She'd go into his pocket and she would steal the money. And I wasn't a tattletale. I didn't tell. What are you going to say? I'm going to tell on my little sister. I didn't know what to do, right? I never stole anything, but one time I did. One time I was with my friends, and I was in a bad crowd, and they were they wanted to steal candy from the store. And I had this coat with this inside pocket. And they said, see if you can do it. And I was so fucking scared. I got to tell you, I was terrified. But I did it, and I got outside. And I was so sick, I didn't want it. I gave it to them. I didn't want it. I was tortured for months and months and months until I went to my dad. And I said, I did something really bad. And he said, what did you do? And I told him. And he laughed. Because I was so distraught. And then he hugged me and he said, you've always been such a good girl. I'm thinking of all the things I'm seeing in my dreams. I'm watching people take this really wonderful person and talk him into doing something that he would never have done on his own. Because it was his family and he got roped into it. And now they're holding him there and making him feel guilty because he was a part of it. Because they're rotten criminals. And he's not. But he did do something he shouldn't have done. And for that, he'll pay. And you know what's sad? I heard she did the crime and I did the time. I took a bullet for my brother. My brother's the one who did this, but I took the fall. And it goes in a lot of different ways. My brother did that to you. I didn't do that. I didn't say that, but I took the blame. And it's kind of like me. Your brother lied
and said these things happened, but they didn't. But I took the blame and I lost you. So many things go around and round in my head right now. We have to think about these things, you guys. If you borrow something from somebody, pay it back. Money and friends and money and family, never a good idea. Business and friends and family, never a good idea. I don't want to be part of that company or that lying, deceitful bitch. That's what I heard in my dreams. I don't want anything to do with the company and that lying, manipulative bitch. It happens all the time. Who do you want to be? This is about honoring your life. Can you stand and look in the mirror and say, I stand here in honor? I do. If my father died and left me his money, I loved him. I went after him my whole life. I constantly check on him. Even though he doesn't speak to me, I write to him to make sure he's okay. My brother worked for him for a while, but he wasn't doing a good job. He was talking on his phone. My dad finally said to him, you know what, this isn't working out, and he let him go. The second he let him go, he never heard from him again. Not once. He was there for the money. You don't want to be that. So if I were to inherit money, do you think that my brother deserves that money? My brother who doesn't speak to me, who cut me off, who's stolen my mother, my house, when my mother died and what was left to me was the house and he stole it? Think about it. It goes on and on. This is so bizarre when I listen to all of these. It's like a mirror that goes around and around and around and around. And how can you be two people in the same family and have such different ways of living? One child very honorable, one child totally dishonorable and a user. And it seems to go that way through generations. And here's in your generation, do you want to break that cycle? Someone in my own family came in, and I won't say who it is, but somebody that was related to me through marriage, that's who went through my house and stole my antiques. I saw it later in a dream. I've never talked about it and I've never said anything, but I know who did it. I watched the people steal the items in my storage unit. I know who did it, but I couldn't prove it. To them, they were going through my things. I watched them going through my things. They held up my son's first baby outfit, the outfit that he wore from the hospital, because I had my children's baby books, their first little locks of hair. I had 5 generations of photo albums. I was the photo album keeper, so we have nothing. All of our memories, they're all gone. Everything's gone. They threw those away. They picked up the little outfit and said, this has got a stain on it. I saw her throw it in the garbage. But the things that were valuable, they sold, they pawned. Think long and hard before you do something dishonorable. Before you take something and receive stolen goods. Don't take the money. I don't care if I heard somebody say that for some other reason in my dreams. I don't care. I know what it means in what Spirit's showing me here. I would rather be with that. I would rather be, this is me, and I'm sure so many of the people that I know, I would rather walk out with nothing, with my clothes in a backpack, than take anything in a dishonorable way or from somebody in a marriage. Think about it. When I was married to a very abusive person, and I got the house, I got so much. I walked away from, I didn't want anything. I said, I don't want your alimony. I don't want anything from you. I took what was mine and I left. The man that molested my daughter, when we split up, I had an acre of property in Canada. We had a Porsche convertible. We had a lot of things. I said, you take what's yours and I take what's mine. I don't want anything of yours. I've always been the one that seems to walk away without the money, right? But I would rather, and people said, why? Why would you do that? The judge even said to me, you can have this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I don't want it. I don't want anything of his. I don't want anything to do with him. I would rather walk out with nothing. And I would rather be with a man that has nothing but a backpack than with a man that's wealthy because he's been dishonest, dishonorable, or he is not a person of integrity. I would rather be with the people with the red and black work shirts that barely make a living, then out here in California with all your money in your plastic society and you don't have any morals and integrity. Wouldn't you rather be with somebody with honor? Right now, there's children in your lives. Do you need to make a will? Do you need to know that when you die, your kids aren't going to be going, you know, it's terrible what happens. I'm telling you, my mother was dying upstairs and the will had all been written up. Everything had been done, but she hadn't signed it. She went into coma. And the house was supposed to be left to me, and my brother didn't want it. There was nothing in it. But we all sat in the room and everyone was talking, and somebody said, who's getting the house? And I didn't even want it. I just wanted my mom. I already had a house that I was losing. I didn't want to deal with my mom's house. But my mom said, no, this way, you know, Lisi, my daughter, and my grandson, they could have it. They could go, you know, I could let them have that house and they would have a safe place. And she said, I want to know that my grandson, my great-grandson is safe. I want to know he's safe. So I want you to take the house. And my brother didn't want it because there was nothing of value, right? But he found out when we all sat there, it was my own fault. I opened my mouth and I said, I guess there's about $35,000 equity in the house. When he found out that, he got up from the room, went outside. The next day after it happened, after she died, I was hysterical. And I was at the beach and I had all these missed calls from my daughter. She was supposed to go the next day with my grandson to show him his room. He was finally going to have, they were going to have a house that they got to live in instead of this apartment building that was really, it was a dangerous area. And he was so excited. He was going to get to have a house and be in this room of his own, big little yard. His Gigi's room, his great-grandma, he loved her so much. My daughter's crying. I said, what's wrong? And she said, there's a note on the front of the door. It says, locks have been changed by order of the executor. My brother found out there was money in that house. He changed the locks. He took the house. He didn't answer me for days, and he said, I am the power of attorney. I'll make this decision. Mom's dead. The document wasn't signed. I said, you knew exactly what was supposed to happen. Didn't matter. Money changes people sometimes. And you wonder why I don't have anything to do with my brother. Money? Blood? Blood is thicker than water, they say. No, because when you love like that, blood runs cold. Blood means nothing to me if you have no honor. And I'm hearing this right now because I'm getting a message in my head that there is somebody like that. And somebody is leaving the other one, the kind, decent one, an inheritance. And they want to fight this one for the money. Don't you take their money. It isn't yours. It doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve it. I understand why people would give their money to a shelter, to their cats. Their cats are going to be living out their lives in luxury until they die. And when that money is gone, after that point, then you can disperse my money to these charities. I don't want any of my kids to have this money. My dad said to me, I'm going to have my trustee write up a will, and your brother's going to be left $1. And I said, why are you going to do that? You don't want to do that. Don't be bitter. Now that he doesn't talk to me, he'll probably do the same. But the thing is, I don't care. I don't want the money. I would have rather have had my father that I never had. Right? So, there's so many things right now. If you want to go, right now you may need help because someone's passing into spirit. You need to release them and understand that as they do pass, they don't feel the pain. They just go to sleep. It's you that's left to deal with what's the memories. You don't want somebody in your life to go to sleep and you have to deal with the memories of how you treated them, how you weren't there for them, how you didn't spend time with them. Spend time with the ones you love now. You're not promised tomorrow. I did spend time. My mom was dying of cancer. I didn't know that. And she was really difficult, mean to me. And I finally said, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to be around her. Her energy is just toxic. And as I went to leave home that night to go home to work, I heard loud in my head, she's your mother. Go. And I thought, what? Because I had always been there, but it was getting more and more toxic. And
she was just taking everything out on me. I didn't understand. She'd always liked my brother more than me. So I went. I asked my daughter to come with me, and that was the last night I saw her. I would never have seen her again. My grandson got to see his Gigi, and my daughter got to see her grandma that one last night. She looked fantastic. She looked beautiful. She died in the middle of she didn't die in the middle of the night. She went into a coma in the middle of the night. Died the next morning. Next afternoon, I held her. She died. So this is a message to you, and I gave this message to somebody. I thought it was my twin. I wasn't sure. Someone was dying. Their mother. They'd been very mean to them. And I said, leave your job. Go. You need to go there. You will regret it for the rest of your life if you don't go there. Can you imagine if I had not gone that night? Spirit talked to me and said, you go. And I always went back. We'd go a couple days or a week, and I'd be mad and I wouldn't talk, and then I'd go back, and because she was my mom, And then I find out that night that she's been dying of cancer, and I had no idea. We don't know what people are going through. Why they're so angry. You know why? She was dying. She was pushing me away because she didn't want to hurt me. And I saw that with my twin. Leave her alone. You're just going to hurt her. Somebody who thought he was going to die. Death shall not take him. A miracle recovery. Sometimes we get divine intervention, and sometimes we don't. And if I hadn't gone, I would never have seen my mom. And for years, I don't even know how long it's been since she died. I've blocked the date. It's right around now. It's probably why I'm feeling this. I think it's right around now. I beat myself up. I should have done more. And her best friends, they said, you were there. You were always there. She was mean to you. Everyone would have understood if you hadn't gone back. But you did. But to me, I could have done more. Because you know what? Sometimes our parents have Alzheimer's. And they don't know what they're doing. Sometimes they get really mean. Sometimes they're dying and you don't know it. And they don't know it. And they're angry. How would you feel if you knew you were dying? You knew that you were dying. Your life was going. There was nothing you could do to stop it. You'd be angry. Some people wouldn't. Some people pull their family close, but other people don't know how to deal with their pain. And they don't want to hurt you, so they push you away like my twin did to me. And I wouldn't let him go. I kept breathing life into him, Reiki, and Spirit kept saying, there will be a miracle. He will not be taken. Sometimes we get a miracle. But I sat in the backyard and I looked at my mother's yard, and the roses were really high. They should have been trimmed. The grass, she didn't have an electric lawnmower. It was a little push mower, but it wasn't a big lawn. I should have gone there more. I used to do her gardening for her all the time. But when she got really mean, I stopped doing it. In the last days of her life, she sat in that little garden with the grass too long and the roses too high for her to pick. So I would go and I would pick them for her, and I'd bring them in the house. But I gotta tell you, I just kept thinking of all the things I didn't do. All the things I didn't say. So will you have your family now? You say all the things that you never said. And you do all the things that you won't get a chance to do. And you live the best life that you can live. The most honorable life that you can live. You sit down and think twice before you do something you're going to regret. Or you let go of somebody that you're going to regret. Sometimes we get very proud, full of ego. Somebody's hurt our feelings. They've hurt us, and so we're not going to speak to them. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding. Sometimes it's not even the truth. In my case, what was told to my twin was a lie. Somebody said to me, the same situation, the same scenario. I was told something. Somebody told me something. They lied to me because they had to go away. And then they came back and they wanted me back, and I told my mother, and she said, "What?" I said, "It didn't happen. Wasn't the truth."
And she said, what lie are you going to believe? The first lie or the second lie? Because he's a liar. And I didn't listen to my heart. My heart wanted to go there. My heart believed him. I knew him. My mother didn't like him ever. But I knew him. I knew the truth. And Spirit gives us an opportunity sometimes to redo that. When you get an opportunity and somebody has lied to you and they've told you something and then they come back and they tell you it wasn't the truth, are you going to believe them? Or are you going to push them away because they lied to you? Sometimes we don't understand the circumstances in people's lives and what causes them to do the things that they do. There's so much about honor in this card. Just know that we are going to leave this life and move on. We want to leave it in the best light possible. We want our children to remember us and our people in our lives to remember us and be proud of us. I'm proud of my dad. I'm proud of my mom. There are things that my mom did that she shouldn't have done, but she figured it out. There are things that my dad did. I'm sure I know he's sorry for him. He's beating himself up, and that's why he's so sad. They need to learn. My mother died of cancer because she couldn't forgive herself. It ate her up inside. She couldn't forgive herself. And my dad, he can't forgive himself either. And so he cuts everybody off from his family because he can't forgive himself. We have to forgive ourselves for what we've done in the past, and we have to forgive others in order to move on. If someone has gone or is about to, even a pet, do something in honor of them. We got pink roses. They were my mom's favorite. And I got pink rose bushes for my daughter and my son, for my mom. And each of them were going to get a part of her ashes to put in to the garden in the rose bushes, so that every time we cut the rose, a little bit of mom would come in the house. But that was taken away from me because someone went into my storage unit and stole the storage unit, and her ashes were gone. You think about all of the different things that you do in your life and how it can affect other people in ways that you're not even thinking. So for you, what could you do in honor of someone that's passed? Anytime I see pink roses, I think of my mom. My daughter, I gave her that pink rose bush, and it's huge in her garden, and it smells incredible. And the roses last the longest. It's amazing. Some roses don't last a long time, right, when they're picked, but they last for days and days and days. This is about honoring the ones who we've left behind. This is about coming to terms with them being gone. This is about helping the ones that are going. My mom held on. She tried. She didn't want to leave me because she was worried about me, worried about everything. I said to her, everyone's here. I got pictures of everyone that she loved, and I said, they're all here. Everyone's here. You don't have to hold on. It's okay. You can go. And she took a final breath, and she finally left. She held on until my son came. And that's what I said to my twin. You need to come back. You'll regret it. They're going to hold on until you're there. It's kind of like me, right? She's going to hold on until you come back. So there's a different way of belief. Some people believe in an afterlife, other people don't. I believe we go back to spirit and we become spirit energy. Some people believe I do believe that energy comes back in into a different form. I believe that my mom came back in my cat. I was told it would happen, and she has that prince. That's why she's Princess Tiger Lily. It's my mom. Just like it represents my twin's mother, Princess Tiger Lily. And so we think about that evidence that we get. And then maybe others have a different thinking. Death is final, and they have no hope in anything after. I'll never have a connection again. And they have this grief that's unquenching grief. So right now it's about working with any fear that you have around death or you're dying. It's about preparing things and contemplating what kind of a legacy you leave. And thinking about the interactions that you have had with the ones in the past. commitment. Who are you willing to make a commitment to? Are they worthy? Who or what? We have a connection. But is it an honorable connection? This is a soulmate, I know that. We've been connected for a very long time. I feel that connection. When you're in this one's energy, is it a positive energy or is it toxic? Are you both encouraged to be the best that you can be? Why did I see that? I saw commitment. But it's communication. Don't you think that's interesting? I'm staring at the word, and I saw commitment. And it just flashed. I think that's incredible. So communication. Clearly there must be a commitment issue here. That's so strange to me. Communication needs to take place between these two, or these two are telepathically communicating because they are connected. Do you need to speak to someone that you haven't spoken to? Do you need to clear up a misunderstanding? Communication is clearly highlighted. The sun illuminates a lot. When the sun comes out, all the shadows are exposed. The secrets are exposed. Whatever you choose to communicate, sincerity is felt by the heart. Remember, things left unsaid are often open to interpretation, so be clear. That's the truth. You just disappeared. I had no idea why. I was left to imagine, with all the things that I watched, the most horrific things, that you were dead, that you were suffering, that this had happened, that had happened. You never said anything. How could you do that? This person said this to me. Why didn't you ask me about it? I trusted them. You didn't trust me? Why wouldn't you at least give me the honor to ask me? I'm always drawn to this one's green eyes, the jealous eyes. These eyes are eyes of truth, the blue. These are jealous. I always see that. I always see their psychic antenna all tied up in a knot. I see this one not connected for some reason. I just heard the truth needs to be told. And this is blue, and there's a lot of blue here. You need to speak your truth, because everything's all tied up in a knot. Because of somebody's jealousy. Lies were told. You were manipulated. And you didn't speak about it ever. And because of that, things were left up to interpretation. Do you need help with communicating? Do you need a mediator? Do you need an attorney? All lines of communication are highlighted right now. Let them make the move. Well, I can guarantee you that I'm going to not make a move. Let the other make the move. Now, this is another message too. What if you were left the house in an inheritance? Let the others make the move. That house is yours. They gotta go. In a relationship, you're constantly the one going after this person, reaching out. Let them make the move. There needs to be an equal give and take in this relationship. If there isn't, stop the communication. Let them make the move. You're putting an offer in on a house. You put an offer in on a house, and now this other party wants it. Let them make the move. Let them make a counter offer before you see what you want. If you're making a business deal, let them make the move. Wait, watch, observe. That's why I observe. It keeps me from getting in trouble. Let them make a move next before you see what course of action you're going to take. See what they have to say before you make a move.
so much. And at 1 minute and 44 very emotional minutes into this reading, I'm going to let you guys go. Wow.